that a picture of a dog you've got on your phone?
Yeah, that's my dog.
Whose dog is that?
It's my dog.
Now we're into the serious stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we have the pleasure of having this interview with a renowned chef and a culinary expert who has embarked his much-awaited journey to Sri Lanka. Welcome to the show, Gary. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, and it is well anticipated. I tell you, I've been meaning to come here for years. It's just not worked out. So now I'm here. I'm very excited.
We're excited to have you here as
Thank
well.
you.
So first of all, how has a few hours since you landed in Sri Lanka been for you?
Well, to be honest, I can't comment on anything. All I've experienced is the hotel. I flew in last night at about 1 o'clock in the morning, got to the hotel at 2, grabbed about 5 hours sleep, and then got into the kitchen. So we've been just kind of sifting through ingredients, looking at all the local ingredients coming into the kitchen. We've obviously got 2 dinners and a couple of other events that we have planned this coming weekend. So there's a lot to do.
Yes, we're excited as well.
Yeah, a lot to do. So we've checked out all the fish, and at the same time, to be honest, I've been wandering around the other parts of the kitchen going, what's that, what's this, and eating things and just trying to get a sense of, where we are and the flavors.
Definitely. So what inspired the creation of Master Table by Gary Mehigan, presented by Cinnamon Hotels and Resorts?
You know what, it's I kind of feel that I'm at the right time of life to take opportunities like this. I never had time before. When we were filming MasterChef, it was a 9-month thing. I always had, I had 2 restaurants at the time. I never had time to do anything. I'd have the standard family holidays. Most of the time I'd be working. And if I was ever filming, it'd be in and out. So experiences like this, I mean, I'm cooking, we're cooking for a lot of people over the next few days. And it's a chance to, have some fun in the kitchens, meet new people, feed them my food, and at the same time, eat your food. That's what it's about. So yeah, and I get time to enjoy it, which is beautiful.
I mean, that's what you're here for, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so what dishes are you excited to try out and to present to the audience who's awaiting your arrival here?
The menus that we've put together are kind of, they're carefully thought out. They're some of my favourite flavours. We've got all sorts of things on the menu. I mean, we've got there's 2 dinners, one's a 5, one's a 6 course plus canopies. So we're doing like a snack attack to start off with 4 elements. We've got a croqueta, a tostadita, we've got a little parfait. So, and then working through the menu, a mixture of kind of classic French and big flavors, but a little bit of Southeast Asian flavors too. Like I'm using lagoon crab, making a creamy kind of hot Thai sauce to go with that, with flavors of lime leaf and lemongrass. And it's going to be like almost like a biff and bat, lots of different ingredients that people can mix together to make that salad. So it's pretty.
Okay, I'm now excited to try the dishes.
Good.
We can.
At least you are.
I'm hungry now.
And then what do I want back? Well, look, I'm working hard, but at the same time, the opportunity to go out, eat a bit of street food. I mean, we're going to the markets tomorrow.
Yes. That was my next question for you.
So I'm getting out and about so that I can, because you need a sense of the place. Like we've obviously got a rough out of what every dish is going to look like. And if we don't get anything extra, they'll certainly work. But I'm also going to go to the market because I want to find something that I might go, oh, that's a surprise, and incorporate it into the menus. So that's the idea. And then, on the back end of, this trip with Cinnamon, my family are coming out. We're taking a holiday out the coast and going inland. We're going to go to Kandy, we're going to Gaul, we're going to do an elephant safari, just kind of typical tourist stuff, but at the same time kind of immerse myself in it. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
Definitely, your visit to Sri Lanka is amazing, and I'm pretty sure that so many Australians will be excited to visit here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, don't forget, we've got Sri Lankan friends. We've got a big Sri Lankan community, particularly in Melbourne.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So I heard a little bit that you're planning on going on a motorcycle ride around Colombo. Yeah, hoping to.
Yeah.
So what are you excited about?
I'm a mad motorcyclist. I've got a couple of bikes. I've actually sold one. I used to have 3 bikes, which was ridiculous. Never get a chance to ride them. But I love motorcycling. So while I've been in India, for example, I've ridden a bit. Whenever I get a chance to get out, leave early in the morning and go somewhere special, back in Melbourne, up into the hills, I always take the chance. I've been riding since I was 17. And you guys drive on the right side of the road.
Yeah.
Well, the left side of the road, which is the right side of the road.
Yeah. So you've authored many cookbooks, right? So what keeps you motivated to share your knowledge on food?
I love teaching people. I love sharing recipes. I mean, once upon a time when, I first started out, recipes had to be earned. In a professional kitchen, you climb the ladder, you work hard. Your teacher, your mentor, whoever you're reporting to would, filter those recipes out slowly. But times have changed. I mean, once upon a time, it was either earned or you had to go to the library or you had to buy a book. If a well-known chef wrote a book, you might wait 3-4 months to get that book, and you'd be eagerly, flicking the pages and finding, new recipes or looking for inspiration. Whereas now, social media's changed everything. It's an incredible resource. And the nice thing about social media, or the best part of social media, is exchange of information. So, writing books is part of that. It's about teaching, sharing information, free flow of information. I've never been a chef that protects recipes. There's no point. They've all been done before. They're just variations of.
That's why you're here today. You have to share your knowledge with everyone.
Sharing knowledge and inspiring people. And I'm a typical kind of extrovert. They always my daughter, for example, is an introvert. I remember reading once that a typical introvert wakes up in the morning, with a full battery, and every person they meet takes a little bit of that charge. Yeah, whereas an extrovert's the opposite. I wake up with an empty battery, and by the time I've met 4 or 5 people, I've ripped the energy out of you, and I charge forwards and onwards and upwards. So I love meeting people. I love foodie people, with foodie brains that love the same thing as me. That's why I always loved MasterChef, because it was felt like a club, and we did that for 11 years. So we've got, contestant names, phone numbers, and contacts that, rewind the clock 15 years, I never would imagine I would have had. So that's lovely. That kind of, if you're drawing energy and drawing inspiration, and it's kind of infusing you with, passion, it's a great place to be. Keeps you young.
Definitely.
Keeps you going.
Is there a chef that you look forward to learning from?
Here in Sri Lanka, or?
Sri Lanka and overseas, maybe?
You know what? Often I'll turn that question around. It's often home cooks that give you some of the best recipes. Some of the best food I've eaten in the world is, in somebody's home. Especially when they're eager to impress, like if they've cooked a few dishes, that's nice. And, table laden full of home cooked dishes, with food bought from the local markets and, cooked with, care and love, interest.
Definitely.
That's the best food. And you can go to the most expensive restaurant. It can be a brilliant experience, but it also can be quite impersonal. And food for me is the best food is a combination of both. And if a restaurant does that well, brilliant. It could be and I've had many unique one-off experiences in restaurants that are very expensive and very beautiful, but I've had exactly the same experiences on the street. A vendor that's been selling one thing all of his life or her life, it's hard to replicate in a restaurant. So, yeah.
That's true. So can you give us a little bit of insight on your involvement in India's mega festival?
Yeah, it's been a good year. I've traveled around a lot. It's nothing like, as a traveler, there's nothing like kind of digging your fingers in to a new culture. And this year I've been lucky enough to go backwards and forwards 12 times or more, to be honest, since September last year, actually. I've covered Onam, Durga Puja, the Hornbill Festival in Nagaland. It's taken me to the Chitharai Festival in Tamil Nadu. So there's some synergies, with food in Tamil Nadu, in Sri Lanka. Where else have I been? Leh Ladakh up in the far north in the Himalayas. Been to obviously Mumbai, all the big cities like Hyderabad, Delhi, Mumbai many times, and Kochi south, down south. So again, synergies. I suppose that flow of same region, same climate. From whether it's Kochi, Bengaluru, Chennai, across the ditch into Sri Lanka. So and I relish that experience. And again, it's often people, not place. I say it on my Instagram sometimes. When you meet beautiful people, share a meal, share food, share stories, it reminds you always of how much we have in common, rather than, in these turbulent times, how divisive everything seems to be. So, yeah, that's what I enjoy. And when you meet people, it's funny, even with what's going on in the world, sometimes if you just put those people together, you can talk, and you're a little, you realize you're the same beings, you really are. And food's one of those great, conduits, along with art and music, brings us together.
Definitely, food makes everyone bring together, right?
Yeah, and I think you can forgive each other for having a difference of opinion or a different ideology. You know, I've met so many people from so many different walks of life, and you know, what makes you smile is what makes you smile.
Definitely.
We're not any different, so I love that.
We're all human, and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And all its complexity.
Definitely. So my next question for you is, as a chef, so how important is it for you to explore and embrace other cultures as well?
Oh, it's critical. You know, when I first started out as a chef, you know, 3 years at college, probably the first 5 years that I worked as a chef was, to be honest, based on what I know now, was very blinkered. You know, I worked in London exclusively in and around, you know, classic French cuisine, little variation, you know, into kind of more modern Italian, European, you know, cuisine, if there's such a thing. But, you know, taking a few influences here and there. But then as soon as I started to travel, whether it was further afield in Europe, other than, say, France or Italy or Spain, certainly into Asia, and then just discovering a, you know, world of flavors. You know, like my first visit through Singapore and Malaysia was just an absolute eye-opener. So wherever I go, you know, I'm fascinated wherever I go. You know, it can be a dish that seems familiar, but it's maybe, you know, it's traveled from who knows where, Persia,
Yeah, okay.
you know, through into India and across into Sri Lanka, or it could have gone, you know, the other way with the spice trade and trail 400, 500 years ago, or 1,000 years ago. So it's fascinating. And without those influences, you're not growing, you're not learning.
Definitely. So,
Is that a picture of a dog you've got on your phone?
yeah, that's my dog.
Whose dog is that?
It's my dog.
Now we're into the serious stuff. I love that. What's your dog called?
It's a golden retriever and cocker spaniel mix.
Golden retrievers love food.
Yeah,
They
but
do,
she's
don't
very
they?
old now. She's
Is she?
9 years, yeah.
How old is she?
9 years.
Oh, she's got a few years in her. You
Yeah.
know, I've got a Great Dane, and he's
Okay.
7, so he's 85 kilos.
Oh my
And
god.
my other dog, Molly, she's 13. She's getting really old, really slow. She likes her food too.
Obviously, dog loves food. Okay, shall we go back to the questions?
Sure, if you want. They're far more interesting.
Okay, so as a chef, everyone on the internet always sees your success stories, right?
Yeah,
So
sure.
do you have any setbacks, and how did you overcome them?
Loads of setbacks. Where do I start? I mean, you know, Instagram's a funny thing, isn't it? You know, everybody's living their best life for a second. I mean, everybody's seen it. I remember seeing this girl taking it like, yeah, and then putting her phone down and looking like the grumpiest human being on the planet.
Definitely.
You know, but just for that millisecond, you know, she's taking a shot of herself looking, you know, sexy, wonderful, and having her best life. And everybody thinks that that's how every second of your life should be. Hospitality is a tough business. Like, I've been in it since I was 15 years old. You know, in any service industry, any business, let's be honest, most businesses deal with people, but that kind of level of service, like things like nursing, you know, you can't, it's next level. So yeah, plenty of disasters. Nearly going bust in business, that's a tough lesson to learn. You know, like when I opened Phoenix the first year, busy, you know, place was pumping, full of people, and then you get what's called a natural dip. You know, once the newness, the shine goes off your restaurant, now you're in what's called the dip, where you've got to work hard to attract new business. You've got to, you know, marketing becomes one of the most important things. Food tends to be a given. Like if you're not producing great food, like what are you doing in the restaurant business? Yeah. But yes, challenges like that. You know, I mean, I remember having a really tough conversation with Mandy, my wife, and just saying, you need to stop spending money. Stop. We've got no money. You know, like the restaurant was really struggling. I think it was about 2002, 2003. You know, but what it did, you know, I changed my mindset. You know, I pushed. You know, both my business partner and I pushed forward. You become more creative because you have to.
You have to.
You become.
It's a fast-growing industry as well.
Correct. You got to adapt. You got to have the right systems in place. You've got to grow, and all that kind of pressure brings the best out in you. And we survived it. You know, we did well. So now I'm in a lucky position where I can pass on that experience to other people. And you need failure as much as success to be relatable.
Definitely.
You know?
So how has your family support been throughout this journey?
They don't have a choice.
Definitely.
No, I think, you know, hospitality families are unique units, unique organizations, you know. Some survive, some don't. But I think I've tried to use a little saying, which is always working, always playing. So, you know, I'm going out to eat, I'm working,
Okay.
but I'm playing. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
You know,
it
I'm doing a
does.
bit of research, but I'm also having fun. You know, I'm traveling, you know, I'm on holiday, but I'm also working because I'm looking at stuff and taking ideas. You know, I come on, you know, something like this, and I'm already wandering around the kitchen. You know, I'm going to be asking
How
for
you
recipes
can expand
and
everything.
yeah, and I'm building my knowledge. And if you take that line away, you know, like where you're working, and then and then I'm at home or I'm not working, it's really hard. Not in a 9-to-5 job, but in hospitality, it's really hard.
Definitely.
And young chefs often ask me, you know, what's the secret to success? I go, always working, always playing. Enjoy what you do, love what you do, live it. Like live it, and you'll have a great life. And they go, but what about my friends that, you know, every weekend are out partying and I'm working? I go, get new friends. What can I tell you? Get hospo friends. And once you get hospitality friends, then when all your friends are in bed, you know, you're out having a drink and eating great street food, you know. So I think it's
a choice as well.
It's a choice. It's a choice to love it and embrace it, or resist it and eventually get beaten by it.
All right, so we have come to the end of our interview.
I thought we were talking about Chunky Chocs.
Okay.
Is this not a question? Like Tim
we can
Tam's
add.
Chunky Chocs. And what are the best-selling biscuits in Sri Lanka? What did you grow up with?
Like I said, it will be tikirimari, but I think most of them prefer golmari, I guess.
So what is it? Golmari?
Golmari and tikirimari is the same actually. Tikirimari just has a little bit of milk in it.
Right.
If
And
I'm
what are
not
they?
wrong.
Describe the biscuit. Why are they special?
I'm not
Why
sure.
you don't know?
It's the
What
taste.
kind of Sri Lankan are you? My goodness, it's the taste. What kind of taste? What's the texture? Sell
more
it
like
to me,
a
baby. Sell it to
chocolate-
me.
I'm more like a chocolate biscuit person though.
You're okay. So you're a Chunky Choc kind of person.
Yeah, Chunky Choc is like a separate version, but chocolate biscuit is like the square version.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite?
I would choose chocolate biscuit.
Chocolate
With
biscuit.
milk tea, yeah.
With milk tea. Do you dunk?
Yeah.
Do you dunk to a point where the chocolate's kind of
Falls
drippy and
into it,
melty?
yeah.
Do you then suck the chocolate off the biscuit or do you eat it? These are important questions. I don't know why you didn't ask me these questions in the interview.
Exactly.
Because
Sorry,
this is
guys.
what makes food delish, isn't it? So come on, tell us.
I think we should ask the audience what they do as well, because I do
No,
it.
but hang on, you're skipping the question. You're skipping the question. Give me the answer. There's some big things going on in the world, and here we are talking about dipping your chocolate biscuit in your tea. Do you suck the chocolate off the biscuit, or do you
I
just eat
do,
it?
but sometimes it falls off if I suck it in.
So if it falls in the tea, what do?
Like I
Eat it
drink
with a
the
spoon.
tea. No. I drink the entire tea and then
eat
later.
the
Yeah.
Boom. I would do the same. This is what I would
Exactly.
do. Delicious tea-soaked chocolate biscuit.
I'm so happy.
All right,
and
last
glad.
question. Come on.
All right, so my last question for you is there any message you want to give out to the audience for watching this video?
Buy me Chunky Chocs. And a cup of tea.
I think you should mention the date you're leaving so that they can deliver it.
Okay. No, don't actually, because I'll have so many Chunky Chocs, then we won't know what to do with. But this is the exciting thing about food. I love the fact that, you know, people seem to think that fine dining, you know, is where it should be, and, you know, fancy food. But sometimes the best food is absolutely the simplest, and it's all to do with memory. You know, it's time and place. You know, it's what fix it in your head. You know, and we all love the same things.
Definitely.
Well, most of us do, if we love food.
All right, thank you so much, Gary, for your valuable time, and thank you for being here with us.
Cheers.
And we hope you enjoy your stay here, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.